Hey, everybody. We are back with another episode of Boss Your Business. And I'm really excited that my birthday sister is joining me today because
That's
we actually have
right.
the same birthday.
That's
Vanessa
right.
Cabrera is my fellow NLP Master Prac birthday sister and badass. That's all I have to describe you right now.
I love it. I'll take it.
Um, Tell the audience, who are you? What the hell are you doing?
First of all, Evie, I'm so psyched to be able to hang out with you today. I
We
was
haven't
telling
done
Evie
this
right
in a
before we went
while.
live, I was like, all right, what do I got going on last night? I'm like, I get to hang with my girl Evie. That's how I roll, right? What's up, you guys? Super excited to be here and hang out with my girl Evie. My name is Vanessa Cabrera. I am a master certified NLP business coach, an award-winning social media marketing strategist. I am a single mom to my, how old is he now? Lord help me, 8-year-old son, Mateo. And this is what I love to do, man. Like I check out my schedule and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I get to hang with Evie today. So yeah, that's me.
So you help your clients own your awesome. There is a lot that has happened in your life over the last few years. Let's start
Yeah.
in the beginning. How did you
Okay.
get here? How did Vanessa become Vanessa of today?
That's a loaded question. All right.
I
So
like asking loaded
I love
questions.
it
This is
though.
why
I
people
know.
come to listen.
I know, right? I'm like, who? All right. Well, if we're talking about, how I became an entrepreneur and a single mom and just became more Vanessa Cabrera of today, I have been, I've been an entrepreneur and owning my own business for 11 years. That just blows my mind to say because damn, it has gone by quick, right? And I was working a 9 to 5, typical, getting paid a lot of money and hated every freaking minute of my job, like a lot of people do, right? I had the Sunday night blues. I was working in a very male dominated industry.
Oof.
I was freaking miserable of, I can tell you stories, but like, guys hitting me all the time. They're not taking me seriously. They think I'm a little girl who likes to play on Facebook,
Go
right?
get the
Until
coffee.
I know, all that shit. Until I got 3,000 avid followers, real life customers to start following us on Facebook. And then the big boys were like, oh shit, she knows what she's doing. I'm like, yeah, mofo, I know exactly what I'm doing. Right. So I started doing like a side gig and I completely forgot I was doing this, Evie, the shit that we forget. Right. But I only know this because my tax guy's like, no, you've been in business for 11 years. I'm like, but my son's 8 and I started them both. So I guess I was doing like consulting on the side and I knew this is what I wanted to do full time. So I was planning on leaving, but unfortunately, I lost my job. And at that same time, I found out that I was pregnant. And when the father found out that we were expecting a child, he also bailed. So there I was. I know. I still can't believe when I tell this story. I'm like, did that shit really happen to me? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my world was turned upside down within literally like 2 weeks. I had no job, no money, no insurance, pregnant, and completely alone. So
And
that's
for
how I
my
started.
European listeners, that means a lot in the States. I'm like, there is not much of a social safety net over here. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Germany, this whole thing would be a little bit different. You go on unemployment, you still got your healthcare and everything going on. But this
Oh,
is like,
really? That would have
oh
been
yeah.
great. No, not here.
I'm like, you have your healthcare, you have social healthcare over there. You are not paying thousands and thousands of dollars just to deliver a baby. I mean, we could take this in a whole nother story. We will not go there. This is Vanessa's show today. This is not talk about healthcare in the States.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, for my European listeners, guys, this is a full-on smack over the head. There is barely any safety net. There's barely any security. You don't
Right.
have somebody that's there for you. You don't. Heck yeah, I'm like, considering you don't have an income, that also means you are way under the general income bracket, which means you qualify for Medicare at that whatever. It's a shit show. Let's
It
just
was a
put it
shit
that way.
show. It was a shit show back then. Yeah. And so rather than look for a job, I just went for it, man. I was like, if I don't start this business now, I'm never going to do it. And that's just something I knew internally. There's no other way to say it. I just knew in my gut that I'm like, bitch, if you don't do this now, you're never going to do it.
And I think that's one of the things that I have seen often being an issue quote with side hustle. Love me a side hustle, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but most of them do not turn into a full-time business till they have to.
Till they have to. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Where
right.
I'm like, okay, guys, I get it. But it's like when we have that security of there is an income, no matter how much we hate it, it's safety. We know, talk about NLP. It's the known. It's not going out of your comfort zone. It's often enough we stick with something that we might not like, but we stick with it. Now, I'm not saying Vanessa would have done that if she wouldn't have gotten fired. I'm just saying this is one of the common struggles that I see with people wanting to turn their side hustle into a full-time hustle. We are often enough too comfortable in what we have, no matter how less we like it,
Yeah,
to
for sure.
really take that dive into the complete unknown and just go for it. And I
Yeah.
think also trust ourselves to do it.
Yeah. So I had the kick in the ass, literally. I had to get my ass kicked, handed to me in order to go
Multiple
all
times,
in.
multiple
Yeah.
ways.
To go all in. Yeah. So that's how I actually started my coaching business.
And I'm like, I admire every mom out there, especially single moms. And you've done the whole giving birth and doing all of that while building the business. I'm like, my head is off to all of you because I'm already overwhelmed just taking care of a dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, we gotta love some tongue twisters. We all got our own struggles and things we are going through. So if you are listening or watching, again, yes, there is a lot that I admire in single moms, in moms in general, that are handling all of this. I know moms that are running a business and have 5 kids running around. I'm like, I don't know how you do it.
I know. Me too.
Don't
I can barely with
internalize this
one.
though. I'm like, listen to Vanessa. She's looking at 5 moms the same way as I do. We all have our own struggles. We all have our own things that in the everyday happen. So as much as my head is off to you, don't take this as, oh my God, they're better than me. We all have our own struggles and trying to make every day work and become better every day.
Right. Yeah.
So that was about what, 8 years ago? He's 8, something like that.
Well, according to my tax guy, like I said, who's been doing my taxes, he's like, I've been doing your business taxes for a long time. So yeah, I celebrated in January of this year 11 years in business, and so considered I actually started my business full time when I was pregnant. If you do the math, it's probably like 9 years that I've been in business, like full on.
So how has business and Vanessa changed over those 9 years?
Oh man, a lot. In the first half, of starting a business, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You just don't. I didn't.
You're throwing spaghetti at the wall and
Completely. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was putting one foot in front of the other. I worked my ass off those 9 months, right? And so I was just figuring shit out the way most entrepreneurs do, right? And so for the first year or two, I was known as the email marketing chick. I loved email marketing. It's how I got introduced to marketing, and I just loved the whole thing. I loved the creativeness about it, all of it, right? And so I was doing people's newsletters, right? I was doing it for them, and it was doing very well. I was doing very well the first 2 years, a lot because I then partnered with Constant Contact early on. This was way before affiliate marketing. This was way before any of that. It was called a partner program. I was using it in my company for years. A lot of people hadn't even seen an email marketing campaign until I started doing them. And then people just started asking me, they're like, Vanessa, how are you doing this? What are you using? So I was already consulting people and showing them what I was doing, right? So for the first 2 years, that's what I was doing. And so that partnership with Constant Contact was huge. And so that led to like speaking gigs. So like, Vanessa, can you go speak here? Can you go speak there? Right. And so my business took off because I was doing people's campaigns for them. And on top of that, selling constant contact through these webinars, seminars, speaking gigs I was doing, and getting a very nice rev share that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh my God, yeah. I
So
remember those old days. I was
the good old
affiliate with
days,
Constant
man.
Contact in the beginning, and then they completely changed. And I'm like, how about you take that knife out of my back? Go away.
Oh man, that was the good old days. So
Uh-huh.
for the most part, in year two, like I was smooth sailing. Like the rep that I was getting from Constant Contact was paying my mortgage, and I was like, oh well, crap, I could do this all day. This is easy because I didn't feel like I was selling. Because I loved email marketing. I loved Constant Contact. I could talk about it all day. I loved it. And so they loved me because I was bringing in all these new customers and whatnot. And then finally, the business started growing where I was like, I needed more help. And it was kind of the fork in the road if I wanted to become an agency or not. So I was like, I need to hire like VAs to start taking care of some of these campaigns and whatnot. And finally, I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do people's emails anymore. I barely have time to do my own. Right. So then social media started to take off and I started loving that. I just really understood social media very intuitively early on. I was like, wait a minute. So if you post this, this person can see it like this and blah, blah, blah. Like I understood it. I got it. Right. Got the memo. So then I switched to social media marketing and people were asking me for my advice and I was doing, campaigns for them and they were extremely successful. I remember doing like hashtag contests on Instagram back in the day and they got all these new followers. They're like, holy crap, Vanessa, right? And so it was a lot of fun. I loved it, right? And so I was doing people's social media, not their emails. And then eventually I came to another fork of the road and I was like, I don't want to do this for anybody else but myself. I just want to consult. I just want to coach. And so that was a scary ass transition, right? But what I've learned is that you have to take these scary ass risks. You have to jump, right? That's what entrepreneurial is all about. And so what I've learned in my journey is that the more risks you take, the faster you will see success, the faster that you will find the path to where you're supposed to be or where you want to go, right? And then so from there, I started working with coaches. I started to invest in my business. You don't know what you don't know. And
Yeah.
one thing I appreciate and thankful that I decided this, even though it was scary as hell, that I've always invested in high-end coaching. I want to work with the best, get me there fast, let me know what you know. How are you doing that? How are you landing these high-end clients? And I've never looked back. And that's made all the difference in the world.
Now, question of mine, because that has been a conversation behind the scenes a lot between me and some of my peers. How
Okay.
do you make a decision on who to bring on as a coach?
I love that question. So now, in this day and age, I think that number one, the coach that you work with has got to have receipts, right? Show me the results that you've gotten from your clients, right? Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you could have gotten away with, I can help you get this and I can help you get that, right? And having a landing page, a lot of followers, very impressive smoke and mirrors kind of stuff. Now you can't get away with that shit anymore. Not in my book, anyways. Show me the receipts. I could give a shit if you have a website or not. Let me see what you've done for your clients. So that's number one for me, and how I decide who I work with is that she's got to get results for her clients. That's number one. And then number two is how I decide who I work with is that I follow her on social media, right? And I see if I connect with her, if I vibe with her, if she, brings me in, if I connect with her, and then I have a conversation and decide. That's it, right? That's it. Like I need a coach who's going to kick me in the ass. That's how I am. That's how I roll. You can ask my clients, right? Don't come to me with excuses telling me why you didn't do this and that. I won't have it, right? And so every coach, I believe, needs a coach. And so I look for specific things in coaches who's not going to put up with my bullshit, who's going to hold a mirror to me and being like, Vanessa, that's a bullshit excuse. You can do this, that, and the other, etc. So that's how I've chosen my coaches.
Love it. Yeah, it's been a lot behind the scenes conversation going on. Because I'm like the coaching industry has exploded. There's a lot of people out there that think that they know what they're talking about. And I do believe they think they know what they're talking about, yet they don't. And they don't deliver on the promise, or they're not even quite sure what they're promising. Those are always interesting.
Yeah,
So
there's got
I
to be
love,
some confidence with
yeah.
it too. You know, like you can't, like I always tell my clients, it's all about confidence and being 100% congruent and knowing that you're the expert in your field, no matter what field you're in, and that you can deliver on what you say that you can deliver, right? If you're not 100% confident in yourself, when you go post on social media, they can smell the bullshit. They can see right through you. They can, right? That's why my
Anybody
clients,
asking why I wanted to have Vanessa on the show?
it's true though. You know what I'm talking about, right? You've seen those coaches and
Uh,
whatnot. And I'm just like, she's full of shit. I know she is. I'm not buying what she's saying. I don't believe her. That's the bottom line. I don't believe her, which I love the hustle. Keep going, girl. I was there. We were all there. Right. But I don't
yeah.
believe you. So I'm going to move on to somebody else.
So how is life nowadays for Vanessa?
It's good. It's really good. So yeah, like you mentioned, shit has changed for me a lot the past only 2 years. I always look at the date. I'm like, Jesus, it's only been 2 years. And a lot has been, as you know, through going through my NLP certification, right? And for me, when people ask me about it, the best way I can describe it going through NLP practitioner was like, I felt like I was awake. I was like, holy shit, I get it. And so I'm never afraid to invest in my business. I'm always investing back in my business. I always put money back in my business, which means making me better, my processes better, right? All the things. And so marketing, I had down. Sales, I had down, right? I had to go through all these steps to get to where I'm at. And so I wanted to learn how to be a better coach. Like no one taught me how to be a coach. I just started talking about social media marketing because that's what I knew. I understood it, right? And so all my clients, especially in 2020, were kicking ass and taking names. But I knew, I'm like, man, she could have knocked it out of the park. Like she could have just gone so much further, right? And I'm like, what could I have said or what could I have done to help her get there? And that's what I didn't have. So when I went through NLP Prac, it taught me basically how to communicate. That's the bottom line, right? How to better communicate with my clients so that they understand me, so I can pull out their inner badass. Like, how do I do that, right? And I from my past clients are like, Vanessa, you were already doing it. I didn't know this, I guess intuitively, right? But it just made me better. So since then, my business has skyrocketed. The women that I'm working with are phenomenal. They are dream clients. They are doing the work. And again, like I've always envisioned, are knocking it out of the park. Like I just had one client who just landed an $11,000 a month consulting contract for 3 years. She's like, Vanessa, what the hell did you do to me? What happened? Like, what is going on? Right. And she got it within less than, oh my gosh, I think less than, well, it's definitely less than 2 years of working with me, but it was like, maybe 6 or 7 months. People struggle for years with this, not knowing what to do and where should I post and da, 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 and all this stuff. And she invested in herself and working with me. And that's how it's been going. Like my clients just keep hitting their goals higher and higher and surpassing them and going, I had no idea this was possible. And I'm like, oh, just wait. So yeah, life is good.
So how does all of that has impacted your private life? Because I know you had quite some fun last year.
Yeah.
And there is some changes. I don't even know if that change has finalized yet or not.
It has finalized. I haven't announced it publicly, so I'm not going to really talk about it now. But yes, it's finalized.
So guys, you're just going to have to check her out. Would you share what you did last year?
Yeah. So last year, I've been sticking with NLP because it worked. And I went through Master Prac training. And Evie was an assistant coach and did a phenomenal job. Our trainer, Stephanie Lou, what's up, girl, trained us both. And the same thing happened after I was done with Prac. I redid my whole business, changed up my business models, my pricing. It was just really clear, right? It was just really clear to me, Evie. I was like, oh, this is how I get there, right? And just head down and focus. And my business took off with Prac. With Master Prac, it was the same thing. I came back. I'm like, okay, how do I incorporate what I know into my own business coaching program so I can help my clients faster? I know exactly how to help them, but that's the trick, right? Get them there faster. That's all we want, right? Yeah. So the clients I work with, they have more money than time, right? They don't want to watch a freaking course. They don't want to watch multiple videos. They're like, Vanessa, I need 2 hours of you. What are we going to do? Tell me what it is, whole mass combo, and let's go. Those are the women I work with, right? Because they know that they want results faster, right? So the same thing happened last year. After Master Prac, I redid my business, pricing, the whole thing, put it out there, and the women I was supposed to work with just showed up. And one was the one that I just talked about. So it's pretty sick. It's badass.
That's the joy of being aligned with your purpose and your goal.
Yeah, it's easy. It's so stupid simple. I'm like, oh man, where was this 11 years ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think it's also piece of our understanding and our growth and being ready to receive those lessons and those trainings.
Yeah.
Of us spending that time of figuring it out, figuring us out. I think that's one of the biggest things where it's like figuring us out.
Yeah. Essentially, what happened in my experience is that I had to go through my own program. The same shit I walk my clients through, I had to go through too, right? I had to figure out what was holding me back. I had to figure out my own voice, what I really wanted to say, right? What I really had to say, and not be afraid that, of putting myself out there. And this is the inner work, as you know, right?
Yep.
That matters. It doesn't matter what freaking time you post on social media. It doesn't matter which platform you're on. It doesn't matter if you're live streaming or you got reels down or you're on TikTok or whatever. What matters is how you're showing up online. And that's all that matters. And how you fix that is that you got to look in and be like, okay, what is it that I really want? What is it that I have to say? Right? And then how can I show up powerfully online so people know exactly who I am and how I can serve them?
And that's why that's the most difficult in this process, I believe, because a lot of people just have been programmed from the child on. This is what we see you to be, and we have that perception of ourselves that other people put onto us, and just learning and finding that strength to let it go. It's like the answers are within.
Yeah, unlearning all that shit. But half the people don't know that that's what it really is. And that it doesn't take weeks or months to do it, right? I do this with my clients in a day. We do it in a day. I demolish all that shit in a day.
Let's get a little bit technical, because I also have a lot of people in the audience that like technical. We already talked NLP. Guys, if you have no idea what NLP is, go look it up and
go down that rabbit hole.
Go down the positive rabbit hole, people, please. I had some people in the audience lately, not here in the audience, but online friends of mine who went a little negative on NLP. I'm like, it all matters how we implement it. So NLP is not a bad thing. A car can kill you too, yet you still drive it. So as long as you work with somebody that uses it to help you, it's fine. It's nothing else than interpersonal communication. That's all it is, people.
Ooh,
so you're missing out if you are not.
Do you trigger them when you said NLP? Interesting.
Oh, there was a really. Now I have to admit, guys, anybody, you get a look behind the scenes. I had a similar reaction in practitioner training when it came to timeline therapy, because I saw the impact timeline therapy can have. Meaning, if you potentially use it in a bad way, it can have bad impact. Now, learning it won't, because the person you are working with decides if this is true for them or not. But I had a similar reaction in practitioner training where it's like, I'm not doing this. I can hurt people with that. I'm not doing this. Simply because I realized I can hurt people with that. I don't want to hurt people. What if I don't know what I don't know?
We use NLP for good, not for evil.
And that's where I went through on my initial call with Stephanie of aligning that, cleaning that up, where it's like, you are not using it with bad intentions. You are not going to hurt anybody.
Right.
So I do understand where they are coming from. They're coming from a position of fear, not a position of support.
Yeah.
So I get where it's coming from, but you also know when somebody is that strong in their belief at that moment, till they are ready to hear a different opinion, there is nothing you can do or say to have any impact on their belief in that moment. But yeah, there was some interesting things I've seen where somebody was really, really coming out of a position of fear. It was interesting to watch.
Yeah,
especially me having gone through through a similar learning phase.
Yeah, I bet. Huh. Interesting.
So other than NLP, what are some general tools and processes that help you do your best job?
One of the tools that I have been using for years and that I love is lead pages. I have been using lead pages, I think for about 8 years now, right? And for those of you who don't know, lead pages is a tool that helps you create landing pages, right? And so in the beginning, when I didn't have the money for a fancy ass website or any of that, I was using lead pages, right? I'm not a web designer by no means. I'm not SEO expert, none of that, right? But I needed a place to send my clients to. So lead pages was such a simple tool, templates, whatnot, made me look professional as hell, right? So I've been working with lead pages for 8 years. I love it. And like I tell a lot of people, you don't need a damn website nowadays. I didn't have a website up until dang near 2 years ago. I didn't need it, right? I use social media and my landing page. That's it. I keep shit simple. I don't like it complicated at all. So lead pages, I love lead pages. And then as they started adding on different things, I had to use a different tool to take in payments and, all that stuff. And so they now offer the ability to take in payments. So when that came through, I was like, oh, hallelujah. I broke up with the other tool I was using. And so I could just use one tool for my landing page, take in payments, checkout pages, thank you pages, masterclass, register, webinar, the whole thing was there. So I love lead pages. That's one tool I use. The other tool I've been using is Constant Contact. People are still shocked. They're like, you're still using it? I'm like, yep. I know it like the back of my hand, and I use it to send my emails out. That's it. Don't overcomplicate things, right? And then the other tool I use is Acuity, which is my calendar. I live and die by my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. It is not happening, girl, right? Nope. So I've been using Acuity now for about 4 or 5 years. It's how people book their coaching sessions with me. It's how people book meetings with me. It's everything. It's where someone applies to work with me. That's another reason I love Acuity, is because you can add an application or survey or questionnaire. So when people book a time to talk to me about working with me, I have an application that they have to fill out first. So it's all there. Has reminders, all of it. Freaking love Acuity. So those are really like the 3 main tools I use. And then Ecamm to go live.
Yeah. Love Ecamm, which is the virtual cam I'm actually using to get in here. So my head is neither too small nor too big than
love Ecamm.
Vanessa's.
Shout out to Ecamm.
I'm like, and I used to use Acuity till I signed up for a lifetime deal that works similar. I'm like, I've used Acuity free for ages.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you guys do not have an online scheduler, I'm like, what are you doing? It's 2023. Seriously, you are still sending 4 and back 5 emails to freaking just get a half an hour
Get a
call
date.
scheduled.
I know.
Can we talk about this? No, we are not talking about this. You're going out and getting a scheduler. I don't even care which one it is. Maybe not Calendly. Not a big fan of Calendly. Their new workflow with the following up is way too much work to just get a freaking reminder out to people that scheduled something. I don't know why they moved that way.
Yeah, I've never worked with them. I have no idea.
It's again, a lot of people love it. It's a nice scheduler. It's got some nice features, but they moved the reminders out into a separate workflow. So you have to set up reminders yourself every single time for every time.
Every single time someone books?
Who the hell has the time to set all of this up? Just have some standard reminders done and then add the automation of the workflows.
Yeah. No, thank you.
We like things simple.
Yeah.
Like things simple.
I don't have time for that.
Vanessa, tell people, where can they find you?
I roll on Facebook, so feel free to befriend me on Facebook. That's where I go to work every day. It's my favorite social media marketing platform. I also throw down on LinkedIn. That's my second one, but definitely feel free to befriend me on Facebook.
So guys, you're going to find it in the show descriptions. We're going to have all the links for you in there to go find Vanessa. I'll be seeing you soon to catch up for a coffee. And all of my audience, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everybody.